what my back feels like in the mornings. That's after a curry. Yeah, sounds like she needs a bit of oil. Ooh, I've got to find somewhere to put that bugger now. Well, we have a curries display. We have a wall of bloody fridges. Handy having this much height. So we have a hot freezer 1, a hot freezer 2. This was just a fridge that got utilised because I got a load of beer from work that needs chilling because it's a little bit lively, which is why it was drawn from sale. Bit of UXB. That's my old faithful beer fridge I've had for many a year. And the old trusty fermentation fridge, which seems to be working. I've even got my old laminate copy of my operating instructions because I always forget how to bloody set them and do them. Something to do with lack of using it. And tube heater. Well, you know, same old, same old. You've seen them all before. So we can put this bad boy back in. That can live in there for the time being. That's working, so that can get switched off. We're back with our proposed layout for the keg herm system when it gets built, which will be a separate side project, because obviously as we're drawing to a close on this job, my other jobs loom. But we are back on track, I guess, after the saga of refrigeration. We've even got a nice trim to go around the old light fixture, just to keep in keeping with the stainless steel world. Right, back to it. Well, we've lowered the shelf. We've had a little change because we've utilised the old cupboards I had in the other shed. Not sure whether it was a good move or not, but I do need at least some safe, relatively dust-free, secure storage for, which is where it was before, my glass and my flask. I've got the 5 litre one, which is why the shelf's so far up. That sat in there quite nicely out of harm's way, which is the reason why I would like to put it back in there, because it's too tall to fit in there, and I certainly don't want it sitting on Mr. Wobbly shelf. So it was a case of sort of trying to find somewhere to put these. I was trying to get this one over there, which didn't really work because we've got the shut off valve there and the pipe works there. It would have gone in if the pipe wasn't there, but it didn't really work. Could have put it here, but then obviously if we get any drips, they're going to leak on top of it, and obviously it eats up a little bit of overhead space here. So it was a case of sacrifice the shelf a little bit, drop it down as low as I can get it. You can see where it was before. So something like the scales and test instruments and bits and pieces like that can live on there, and glassware and such like can go back in the shelves. And I've got the vac sealer and things that were lived in there before, fitted in there quite nicely, so that can find a home back in there. I think we can start thinking about getting some of the stuff that's been kept in safekeeping in the house and move that in as well. But I've had a long day doing this, walking around the hospital for tests. They're scratching their head, so am I. So I'm gonna put my feet up. The cable's arrived. Capacitor, but it's not for the one for the fridge, so that's not too much of a priority. and the replacement lamps for the cooker hoods. And we have started filling up with shit. Yes, it's that time. Well, I have to find all the bits and put them all in one place at long last. Well, a couple of little bits have turned up. Actually, the tap I wasn't expecting anywhere near this soon, because it was a Chinese seller reporting to be in the UK that actually wasn't, but obviously they've got some stock, or they forward it and then just use the UK address. But I don't know whether it was a little bit bendy gandy. Not the end of the world. I've messaged the seller, but eBay in their infinite wisdom now have stopped your messaging directly if you've got an issue, because I would have just said, look, it's damaged, knock us a couple of quid off and I'll you know, I've probably got an old radiator fitting that I can replace that with, or even probably straighten that up, and then the worst bit will be at the back, because I'm only interested in being able to utilise the threaded tap adapters on this, which is the whole reason I'm changing it. So I've got to wait now in case they want to collect it. Chances are they probably won't, because it's probably costing more in the UK postage than the whole thing did, because it was less than £6. And the RCD's turned up, so we can get that banged in. Still haven't found the original one, but that'll turn up. Well, at least the fridges will never have to work too hard in this building. That's the ambient room temperature. That's going to be fun in here in the winter. Mind you, it soon warms up. It's gone up to 0.2 anyway. But we have today received the capacitor. So it's a case of will it still work? Oh, I've got a runny nose. Is that bloody cold in here? Right, we have fitted the new start capacitor. Obviously it's much fatter than the original one, so it won't go in the bracket. So, well, I've put the panel on now, but basically the wires go through the bracket and terminate back down there in the box, and we've just cable tied through the polystyrene so it doesn't interfere when it goes back into the case, holds it in place. And I've just whipped the cover off the thermostat again. So you see we've got two lights there, which presumably one comes off each side of the stat. So one will bottom one there with the bulb symbol or whatever it's supposed to be, compressor, I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be. I would say that's the live in, and then obviously when it's cold enough and switches on and calls for cooling, it will supply power to the relay, to the compressor to start, and also this little lamp, which would be that green one to say power by the looks of that symbol, and fire it up. And we've got our control there, which you can might hear doesn't click in, so it's probably already calling for cool, so it's fully in because it's too bloody cold in here. But obviously fridges generally, I think the factory set on this is 5C. I've got the heater on and we're at 10 at the minute, so only one way to find out. So wait, hums, bangs or pops or whistles? Oh, that sounds good. Fan one's working. I can see that one spinning. Compressor's buzzing away. Nothing smoking. So, as long as we get some cold air coming out of there, which means I've got to go back in the house and get me laser temperature doofra and see if the old girl's working. And I'm still debating whether to bypass this and put a digital temperature controller in it so I can actually get it to run at a higher spec than it would do normally as a fridge, because obviously I'm not using it fridge per se for food storage, which obviously needs a lower temperature than beer does, because I'm not one of these that wants my beer at just above freezing point so you can't taste anything. I do like stuff at cellar temp, so we might yet still modify it, or at least put a couple of connections in there and up to the top where it's accessible. See how I'm doing for time, really. That's the major factor at the minute, as we're drawing to a close on the little project. Well, let's put room temperature 10-11 degrees, depending on where you shoot it. And that's freezing up there. Can't really. The ice is forming there. It's not really picking up. There's too much going on. But the heat dump. Well, if she's getting hot, she must be getting cold. That's puddling out 23, 24 degrees versus 9 degrees on that. It's gone down to 8. And we are forming ice on the pipe work. It is around there, I don't move it in case I knock the bloody thing off. Bit difficult because obviously it's sucking air in from around, it's not enclosed in its housing, so it's definitely cooling something anyway, but obviously it's sucking air in from around here and the other side at room temperature rather than just drawing it through here and chilling down. So we will put it back together and let it settle, reassemble the housing, and see if we can get the bugger bag in, which is the most awkward job of all, because you don't get it in from the top, you have to push it up from inside. Put a polystyrene collar around one half. The only way I've found of doing it on your own is to tape the collar to the top and lift it up through, and then you place the other collar, the other half, the other side here, and it basically sits against its own weight and the taper on it. Not the best idea of housing it, but I mean it works, it never fell out. But the collar's basically like that, but two halves of reverse, and the corners are brook, so they're taped together, but they still do work. So I'll just go and find some carton tape to stick it back together again, and hopefully if that's working we can get the shelves back in here and free up a shed full of beer and get it back inside here. Well, it's in, not without a bit of swearing, because the polystyrene collar thing, you have to lift the thing right through. You know, this is really a two-man job when you haven't got two men. You can't see because I've put the collar around now, but I haven't got any double-sided tape, so I just had to use a daub of silicone on each corner and in the middle, and just a bit of tape on there at the minute just to hold it till it sets. So while I had the gun out, I've been around all the joint surfaces and zipped around with the silicone sealant, so no cold air should seep through. Not that there is a lot, but they do tell you to do it. But yeah, it's an absolute bugger, and the beam did cause a little bit of a problem. I had to put the collars over the top, pass it up through there, balance it with one hand, hope for the best, quickly dive down and grab the other piece of collar, then hold the other bit of collar and tape it in place so it didn't fall out at the critical moment. It's a pain in the freaking ass. It's Norwegian. There you go. Never were one for engineering, were they? Anyway, it's in, so it's just settling now before we try it out. And obviously it absolutely reeks of silicone in here at the minute, which is exciting all the little vinegar flies, because it smells that sort of vinegar. I don't know what they put, is it the acetone or something in? So we'll stick the old zapper on her See if we can nuke a few of them little beggars. So I'll wait for that to set for a few hours, and then I'll start thinking about where the shelves are going, because I can't remember exactly where they went. There's no marks left. I know I had me big bottles on the top, so I'll just have to sort of go find the tallest bottle and work my way backwards. Well, she's running. Another bit of a late one last night fitting the shelves. We just bunged this in about half an hour ago, so we'll see what we're reading is minus. So it must be working. That was 7 degrees in here, 10 degrees, I can't remember. It was 8.1. Light still works as well, as a bonus. It doesn't feel like sub-zero temperatures in here. You can see where the probe is, so it's not in direct line of fire of the thing. Well, you can see we've got the shells in. They were a pig because all the brackets are starting to break, and whoever originally put the rails in has got them about 4 or 5 mil out of alignment, so they sit wider than the shelves and the little clips. So I've had to cable tie everything just for belts and braces. The cable ties I got weren't the right ones, so I've had to use 2 little ones, 2 to roll it up and 2 to keep them down. So there's a fair bit of weight on them old bottles. So I don't want a bit of a disaster coming on. I think it's more or less the same as I had it before. So I can definitely feel the cold air there. It's like AC. What's she going up to there? Yeah. So time to fill the old girl back up.